Trending news here in Canada today after the man accused of killing 4 members of a Muslim family in London, Ontario, has been found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder. He was also found guilty of 1 count of attempted murder. Jurors in the trial of Nathaniel Veltman reached a verdict in just 6 hours. The 22-year-old hit the Afzaal family with his truck while they were out for a walk on June 6, 2021. 4 of the family members were killed in the attack, while the 9-year-old son was seriously hurt but survived. At the upcoming sentencing hearing, the judge will rule on whether it was an act of terrorism. For more on this, let's bring in Omar Kamisa. He's the Chief Operating Officer for the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Omar, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
What's your reaction to this verdict?
You know, it's at a time like this, our hearts are just go with the family, and we saw the family when they were in the courtroom. You know, for me, it's a little bit of hope. It's a little bit of a relief for them. You know, they've had to sit in that courtroom for a long time, listening to words that were the most heart-wrenching words and the most horrific statements. And for me and for the community, it's a chance to, you know, maybe take that first step in allowing our hearts to heal a little bit. And you could see that, you know, that relief and that emotion come out in the courtroom as soon as the verdict was read.
Do you think this ultimately will be determined to be a terror attack under the law, and should it be?
You know, I'll be very honest about that. I don't really want to talk about, you know, the conviction. I don't really want to talk about, you know, the attacker at all. But I will say this, is that, you know, this attack brought terror to the community. It was a terrorist attack. It hurt the community in a way because a family just went out for a walk and they never came back. Right? If there is a better definition of what that is, I can't find it anywhere, right? If a family can't go for a walk without being worried of not coming home, then we have a little bit of a problem, right? And for the community, it's a little bit of a chance to breathe, so they know, you know, we are able to do those, go for a walk. And you know, I was remembering the incident. I was remembering 2 years ago today, and you know, this incident happened right in the middle of COVID, when walks were all we could do. Right, all we could do, we couldn't go traveling, we couldn't go see our family on vacation. We just got to go with a walk with our family, and this family went for a walk and never came back. And you know, from my heart, it's just saying I want their family and their community to be able to heal a little bit from this.
What's been the reaction today from the Muslim community in Canada?
You know, I 2 years ago when we were in London and I was doing interviews just like, you know, like this today, I said that, you know, our hearts were broken and our minds were numb. And, you know, I feel like our hearts still have never been healed. Our hearts have still been broken. Our breath, you know, we still hold our breath when we, you know, when we get anxious, when we go for a walk, when we want to see a family that is, you know, that's going for a walk, we hold that breath, right? But I feel like, you know, from the community aspect and from my own personal aspect, it's a chance to breathe. It's a chance to exhale a little bit. And it's a chance to grow as a community now and actually be able to take a step forward now altogether.
Do you think the verdict does anything to help dampen Islamophobia in our country?
Well, let's be very frank. Islamophobia is still on a rise, right? Just yesterday, we had an incident in Toronto where a man was throwing something in his face because he was Muslim, right? Now, do I think this verdict, you know, dampens it? You know, it's a step in the right direction. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, you know, in all kind of aspects, in all communities, you know, with every kind of step forward. Because if Islamophobia is still happening, it means that there's still a lot of work to be done so that families like our London family, the Afzaal family, can go for a walk, that a person can be walking on the street without something thrown in their face, that, you know, the IMO mosque, a caretaker can be sitting outside the mosque and not, you know, fear for his life. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but this is another step to make sure that it doesn't happen more.
That's Omar Kamisa. He's the Chief Operating Officer for the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Omar, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Matt.